Hi there guys, Sam here. Yeah, you joined me again in the Golf R, and yeah, a bit of a back-to-back video on yesterday's one actually. This one more around sort of four-wheel drive. I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet really. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the four-wheel drive really, and just how it kind of works with all kind of manufacturers, and where, you know, that's kind of where a lot of manufacturers are going. And I think there's a big reason for that really. Again, seeing other reviews as well, you know, it just seems to be the future. And obviously in the Golf R, which came out, obviously there's four-wheel drive cars before then, but this particular Golf R came out around 2014, and having four-wheel drive added to, well, A, it was able to put down its power, B, you're able to get the grip, you're able to get the safety. It actually can be kinder on insurance actually as well. I know my friend who's got a 135i, he pays around double, well, I got quotes as well on sort of double the cost insurance wise of this, just because it's a rear wheel drive car. And you know, you've obviously got your big 4x4s, like you say your Macans, maybe not that big, but like, you know, KNs, your SQ5s. You've got some big 4x4s, and they're quite heavy, and because they're really big and bulky and they're quite top heavy, they're not necessarily that fun. Probably exception to that, as I went into a video before about Porsche Macan GTS, which I'm a massive fan of. And you got this Golf R, and I was kind of thinking about it. Is there technically a lighter four-wheel drive car out there on sale? I'm not too sure. I mean, I know BMW have their like X drives, and they put them in quite small engines, so potentially there is one out there. But you know, my three-door Golf R in a manual, you know, it's definitely under 1,500 kilos. It's 1,470 or something like that. And as a result, although it's heavier than some cars, you know, it's actually quite light for a four-wheel drive car. And it's not such a gas guzzler. Economy-wise, it's really is good. Honestly, you know, this is the same engine that's in a Golf GTI. Yeah, it's got a bit more power and stuff, but you know what? And obviously the car weighs, I think it's about 100 kilos more. So economy wise, you know, I've got really good mileage out of this car. You know, I think other YouTubers have done it as well, but for me, you know, you can get 500 miles out of a tank, which is pretty ridiculous really, for a car with that much power. And I've rarely seen below 300 miles for a tank, and that's kind of including drives where I've just gone for a fun drive. You know, sometimes when you launch it, you know, redlining it and giving it some fun, that's really, really good. You know, on my current trip, I've actually done for about 360 miles, and it's saying 60 miles left, and I have not been going that slow. You know, it's been sort of cruising on the motorway at 70. It's sort of been, yeah, I just think it's incredible that it's kind of included in all of that. And you look at again today, it's wet, it's horrible as always, and the four-wheel drive grip really does make a difference. You know, I've got some snow videos as well, and back with my dad's old car, he couldn't reverse up our drive because it was just, the front tyres were just spinning. It effectively, when you're reversing, it becomes a rear-wheel drive car. He couldn't get anywhere. And I was in the Golf R, and I was like, oh, okay. I actually went up it first, so maybe it had more compacted snow. I just breezed up, and it was that I was kind of like, wow, just something small, you know, you're just cruising up slowly, and it really does help. And, you know, you look at Audi's sort of formidable Quattro system, and then BMW now sort of going away from rear-wheel drive to X-drive, and you look at the likes of the Golf R, I think, you know, four-wheel drive is definitely the future. I think to be sitting in a four-wheel drive car is actually really, really quite cool. I know it's not on all the time. I know it kind of acts like a front-wheel drive car to save fuel, which is fine by me, but it'll kick in like the Halodex system does, and you actually do get a little bit of fun, and you do get that real-world grip. And I think whether you're around sort of Europe, I've done four-wheel drive type videos before, or like somewhere where it's snowy and wet, and even when it's sunny, it's kind of the way of the future really. And yeah, I'm interested to know your thoughts about because I was such a big fan of front wheel drive cars, just from, I only ever really owned Fiestas, and then obviously the Fiesta ST was just so much fun. It's actually, my other half is behind me now. And I never actually owned a rear wheel drive car, but I have driven some, obviously Porsches and stuff like that around track. And yeah, your thoughts on, do you think it's needed? Do you think it's actually something that you need day to day? Because that's something that, particularly before I bought the car, it never really crossed my mind that it was something that is really going to impact me day to day. But having, I mean, I'm sort of 9-10 months into owning this car now. There's been a lot of occasions where I've needed four-wheel drive. There's been a lot of heavy standing water, a lot of rainy times when you want to have a secure, stable car. And I've sort of been cruising around a flooded motorway and just been like, it's easy. Or in the snow as well. It's been brilliant. And then again in the dry, yeah, it still plays a part. You know, it drags you around corners. It's brilliant. You know, do you lose a little bit of that fun from the rear-wheel drive? Yeah, probably. You know, will a front-wheel drive car probably do exactly the same if it had winter tyres? Maybe, but then you're sort of switching and swapping between tyres then, aren't you? You're kind of compromised. You know, last week, as I said, we had about 27 degrees heat, and it was the sunniest time ever, and it was brilliant. You know, I actually got better economy out of the car because the engine was just up to temperature straight away. You know, you can go straight on it. And then you can go back to a cold, you know, I don't know what the temperature is, but it's not exactly warm. Probably need something other than a t-shirt. And, you know, the car, you know, you don't have to change anything around. It can just do it. And I just think that's really cool and really capable. And in something like a small little package like a Golf, it's something else. And it's something that's really, yeah, it's definitely really got to me over the ownership of it. You know, is it really needed? You know, yeah, you can probably live without it, but there has been times, and more than sort of your 1 or 2 days, where it's been like, wow, you know, this is really, really helping me. You know, and this kind of the safety aspect of it as well is quite handy. But yeah, that was it. It was just a bit on the four-wheel drive stuff. Really interested to know your thoughts, just in general, where you think the car industry is kind of going. I certainly think everything is kind of heading four-wheel drive, isn't it? You look at even some of your faster kind of supercars. Off the top of my head, I think a lot of them are obviously rear-wheel drive. But you look at like the Porsche 911 Turbo S, which I actually was fortunate enough to drive around track, and 0 to 60 with the PDK is like 2.7 seconds. Nothing can really touch that with rear-wheel drive. And the thing is, it could do it again and again and again. And I think that's yeah, I just think that's really cool. I think in all aspects it can kind of be used. But yeah, that was it. It's kind of a bit of a four-wheel drive talk, just something I had on my mind. Interested to know your comments and what you think just in general in the car industry, what you think about it with the Golf R. You know, what would this Golf R be like if it had 300 brake horsepower and front-wheel drive? It'd probably be like a Club Sport S, which, well, it would be a Club Sport S essentially. But would it be any good? I think knowing the Club Sport S, as great as it is, but I think as a daily, this is definitely the one to go for. And again, going around VW dealerships when I was looking for a Golf R, they were just like, yeah, if you want a daily, if you want as a day-to-day car, you kind of go for the Golf R. But yeah, that was it. You know, thanks for the comments and stuff on my video from yesterday. Actually, you know, it was really interesting. Plenty of feedback and stuff like that, and it's really cool to get into those kind of discussions. And again, yeah, great to hear from you guys. And again, you know, give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and you know, subscribe for more content on the Golf R. But you know, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Cheers, guys.